Alright, I am back with a Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League video. I guess I could have done one analyzing player count and things. I don't know, maybe I'll do that later. I'm going to do a build video based on a character that used to be my least favorite, but now there's a pretty fun build with him. Although one thing you kind of notice about this is you can just sort of do the same builds on everybody. Like, fire is right now the most powerful elements because there's different ways to build it out, and you just cut through armor with it. Electricity, freeze, very not ready for prime time, and then the Bane sets, the one that you farm all the time, is also really strong. Maybe I'll do something on that later. But this is Boomerang. This is my fire build, which I am still tweaking. You can still farm, better things for it. I'll get to that in a minute. But this is the gist of the build. If you want the talent tree, I don't think I need to go through all of these because very few of them are really... I should probably do this. Critical reloads. I gotta change this to to shotgun things. I use my shotgun more, I think. You can mirror this if you really want to, but it's sort of personal preference on a lot of these. And in terms of loadout, this is sort of the more important part here. Okay, so I have a few elements to this. This is my sick burn shotgun, and this is hitting enemies within 7.5 meters of you burns them. So if any of your other burn mechanisms fail, this will just burn them by shooting them. So in a fire build, I thought that was pretty useful. I also have a plus shotgun damage thing somewhere in here. I think I should probably keep tweaking the final purple perk there and make it like more shotgun damage or more burn damage or something. I do have this damage to enemies affected by an affliction because I have my other guys running Bane things with the crazed modifier, so that's always on things. So I don't know. It's kind of up to you whether you want to do that or do one specific to your burn. I have a couple of these others that are burn specific. This is the second part of this. This is a Master Black Mask's Bulletstorm. You may not know this, but there are Master versions of everything, I think, where it's just very much increased stats. This is ideally what you're farming for across your build. So in theory, I should be getting a Master Sick Burn from something. But I have not gotten one yet. I did get this just randomly. I wasn't really farming for it. I don't really know how to target farm things outside of just the Bane set, so you might just have to get a bit lucky. The Black Mask stuff is sort of a key element of most burn-based builds. I don't know how many Black Mask weapons there are, but this is a sniper, so this isn't really super ideal for this. Sniping is, good in certain instances, but I have the Black Mask minigun on King Shark because the idea is if you hit 3 enemies within 6 seconds, it burns all of them. And that is really good, especially for a minigun because it's so easy to hit so many enemies. Sniper rifle, a little harder. But this is, depending on the situation, I might want to apply this instead of using one of my other burns. This is my burn-based Boomerang. I don't really know if this is the right thing to use here. I don't really care about, the countered thing doing 400% more damage. You can use a two-face thing here where when you could use like a Bane piece and combine it with that for some additional crazed effects, but I don't really want to start mixing crazed and burn and stuff, so I just have this. It's a master, which is why I'm using it. Then I have, this is kind of an important part of this, this is one of 2 pieces of the Gizmo set. So I have this on fire, and the Gizmo set just straight up gives you 50% damage to burning enemies. And then the second piece is also super useful. Grenades do 50% less damage, but will always burn them. So in theory, I think I could put this on a different element, so then if I wanted to electrify people, I could. But then also, it would, if I don't want to use an infused grenade, you can just toss it and it auto burns everything. In addition to that, when your shield breaks, you release a Diablo Blaze that burns all enemies. This can happen every 30 seconds. On higher level stuff, yes, your shield is going to break. So that is pretty important. The other part of this, the Gizmo set, is this thing. It's just a specific mod that you're going to have to farm. Then I have traversal attack damage on burning enemies. So ideally, you'll see this in the build video or like the gameplay. You want to burn enemies and then use your Boomerang to bounce them all around, which does a lot more damage if you do that. This is another really important part of the build. Really, really important, I would say. I just got a master version of this really recently, which dramatically increases capacity, which is awesome. I put some damage reduction on this. I put crit chance. I put shotgun damage. The most important thing, each enemy you burn that isn't already burning makes you invulnerable damage for 2 seconds and returns 10% of damage. Each additional enemy burn increases the duration by 2 seconds up to a maximum of 30. So if you're going on one of your little rooftops and you throw a burn grenade and you hit 4 enemies, you are invulnerable for 8 seconds from everything. So if you're running around the map just burning things, you will be invulnerable a lot, which is very helpful in terms of survivability, because eventually there's just so much shit on screen damaging you. You either need like tons of shield refills or you need invulnerability at higher levels. So that's why this shield specifically is so good, and that's why part of the reason burn builds are good too. The final piece, I don't know if this is the necessarily best thing. This just rotates through 750 increased damage to affliction, so half the time your Diablo Blaze will be 750% more damaging than normal. So that's pretty good. So every 20 seconds that'll switch. I put like 50% crit chance almost when the shield is overcharged. Because of the invulnerability thing, you will often have your shield overcharged. I don't know if that's the best thing to put on it, but I did. Could probably change the XP from kills. I was leveling Boomerang and I was kind of behind, but I can probably change that. So we'll just dive into some gameplay here. I'm not playing this live. I recorded this a little, just 20 minutes ago. The idea is you're just burning everything as much as possible. You ideally want to burn stuff and then throw your Boomerang to bounce around in an AoE sort of burn destruction mechanic. The best way, I think the best way to get burns off is really just the grenade with the 100% burn chance. It's just a big AoE, and then if enemies are more individually close to you, you can use the shotgun to just manually burn them one at a time. The problem, of course, that I am running into at higher levels here is that there is a modifier that makes enemies immune to all afflictions unless you hit them with a crit. And that sucks because you can't do half the things you want to do with your affliction builds. If you toss your burn grenade, it won't do anything, and if you're running into these enemies, you have to do a crit to each of them in order to get that shield off, and then you can start burning them, which is very annoying. So like, it doesn't totally negate this build because there's multiple ways to apply crits. Some guns like crit all the time. Your shotgun, it does a lot of crits really easily. Like one of those bullets at least is going to do a crit. I have my like 50% crit chance if my shield's overcharged. So like, there are ways to get past it. It's just sort of annoying compared to lower levels that you could just toss a grenade and everything's on fire and then you just go nuts. But that's not really how it works here. Your partners can also take those shields off people. One reason that the burn builds are so good right now is because like so many enemies, not even that shield, not the elemental shield, they also have normal armor. And normal armor is when you just can't shoot them unless you do a melee attack or hit. I think you can hit them with a grenade or a super or something and knock the armor off. But the burn will just melt right through them. So if you have a black mask weapon, you can just shoot 3 armored guys, and if you're not doing, even if you're not doing damage, the Diablo thing will just start burning them alive. And if your 750% increased damage thing is up, they will just melt. So that's a big reason that people are playing a lot of Pyro fire builds, because you can get past a lot of the things they put in there. I really hate the elemental shield. Like, it's so annoying. Like, it's bad for the Bane sets. There was a boss fight later against Brainiac that the main mechanic is Ivy spawns these plants. You're supposed to use the plants to poison the giant cluster of enemies that are attacking you, and then Brainiac, who normally tries to absorb enemies to get his shield back, or to get his life back, will absorb the poison guys and get hurt by them. Like, significantly hurt, because you're really not doing any damage to them otherwise. Except they all have the Affliction Immunity Shield, and you have about 15 seconds to get that off of like 50 guys, and I don't have any idea how to do that. And so you can't just mass apply the Ivy Affliction. It's so frustrating. Like, I really hate that modifier. If I was gonna change anything, it would be that modifier, because it's just the whole point of these endgame builds are affliction builds, and if suddenly you have to knock a shield off of every single enemy with a crit, that gets very annoying very quickly. So it just negates your build like essentially half the time unless you just, you know, infuse part of it that can crit people at some sort of reasonable pace, but I still find it extremely annoying. So right now I have 2 fire builds. I have one on King Shark and one on Boomerang, and then I have 2 Bane builds. I have 2 of the sets on Deadshot, and then I have 2 on Harley Quinn. There's 3 total, so they share one, but once you get to mastery, what is it, 20, you can drop all of the different Bane pieces, so I've got enough of those to build out essentially 2 full sets on both of them. Those are also good in their own ways. There's just so many synergistic bonuses with the Bane set that it may be past Pyro builds a lot of the time, but it's like the set of the season, which again is sort of weird because you are mainly just farming that set, and it's the easiest thing to target farm. So like most endgame builds are based on that, or like cobbling together some sort of fire build. Like this will change once we get more sets introduced as each season goes by, and there's supposed to be like 1 seasonal set per season, but it's a really weird start because you can just, again, you can make a fire build across all characters and it will kind of just feel the same, or you can make a Bane build across all characters and it will kind of feel the same. Like, yeah, different application method, different super, but it's very similar. If you don't have Black Mask stuff, there is something called a Super Spreader modifier, which if you kill an enemy with an affliction, it will blow up and then spread that affliction to other people. I might put that back on instead of Black Mask because I just don't find I'm using the Black Mask sniper that much compared to, say, the Black Mask, this is like a tongue twister, minigun. I think there's a pistol? I forget how many, there's a shotgun. No, it's a pistol. There's a Black Mask pistol. I don't think there's an AR or an SMG. Maybe that would be, I don't know, too easy to apply. I don't know. The minigun's pretty easy to apply. But for pistol, you could put that on Harley, or does Headshot use pistols? I'm pretty sure he does. Let me look, because you're watching gameplay. He's on my Bane stuff. Yeah, he uses pistols too, so you could put that on Deadshot. But right now, he just has all the Bane stuff that I have on him. You can get the Bane Sniper at tier 3. So the goal here is, just to talk a little bit more about the endgame and like kind of what I've discovered, is you want to be increasing your mastery level at least up to 50 at level like 28 or whatever here. I just looked at Steam achievements. Only 0.4% of people have even gotten to mastery 20 yet, so like, well, I may not be in the 80s like I've seen some people or whatever. Like, I'm pretty far ahead of most people, so, and I'm not really, you know, I beat this one with 10 minutes to spare or something, so like I can keep pushing. It just, these just get so boring. It's the same 3 missions over and over again. And really at this point, if I have my build kind of set, I'm just trying to farm master versions of everything I already have. And it's just totally random. I clear this one and I get no master weapons, none. So it's not just, you know, a low percent to get master weapons. You're also trying to get them with the exact you know, slot you want exact weapons. So it's, you know, it's an endgame grind. It's fine. It's just a matter of, I hate grinding these same 3 missions over and over and over and over again, and we need more stuff. So even if I have some fun builds, even if I'm still progressing in mastery tiers, I don't know how much more of this I can really do. I'm like almost 50 hours in, so it's not like I haven't put the time in, but you know, I'll certainly be back in a couple of weeks when the Joker stuff hits. So anyway, that is my Pyro Boomerang build. I'll probably do a Bane one, either with Deadshot or Harley, in a couple of days here. I don't really expect these videos to do well, but I don't care, whatever. But yeah, so anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.